What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. I don't know why I'm so sing-songy all of a sudden. Sorry, there's like so much dust and so many little dust particles floating around. It's really quite distracting. If I'm staring off into the abyss, that's why, because it's like I'm seeing fairies right now. I have like my ring light and then all these little white fuzzies coming towards me. I feel like I'm actually losing my mind. Anyway, hi guys. What is up? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my payday routine. It is payday today. We love a good payday. You guys know I love money. I do. I love money, okay? Sue me. And I love talking about money, and I thought what better time than now to sit down and bring you guys along for a little payday routine, since I did just get paid. So this is like real time, showing you what I do on more of like a weekly or fortnightly basis. Obviously you guys see my monthly budgets when I do my reset videos, but this is more of like the nitty gritty kind of how we manage our finances. I did do a video kind of touching on this, it'd be like almost a year ago now, which is crazy. Time flies. I feel like things have changed quite a lot since then. Like I got a new job, new pay cycle, we got a mortgage, like we have a lot more expenses. I don't know, there's also a lot of new faces on my channel as well. So I'm excited to get into it. I also wanted to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is WeMoney. I'm so excited to be working on them again in today's video. I'm sure you've all heard me talk about them before a bunch of times, but if you haven't, WeMoney is a financial wellness platform, which is designed to help you manage your finances and help pay down debt faster. They have so many cool features like a debt tracker. You can track your bills, your financial goals, like so many cool different features. And I love what they stand for. Their mission is to help everyone live their best financial lives, which if you guys know me, like my go-to saying is living your best life. So I feel like we truly align on so many different levels. So I'm so excited to talk more about them in a moment. But before I do, I just wanted to say hi and welcome if you're new. My name is Ella. I am 25 years old. I work a 9-to-5 as an accounts I really had to think about that. I work a 9-to-5 as an accounts receivable officer here in Adelaide. I do a lot of lifestyle content, lots of vlogs, as well as budgeting and personal finance videos. So if any of that tickles your fancy, feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up as well. It really helps my channel out and I really appreciate it. That being said, I'm gonna get into it because I feel like I've just said a whole lot without actually saying a whole lot, you know what I mean? Oh, I did just one last thing. I wanted to preface this video by saying this is just what I do when it comes to managing my finances, and there's no right way or wrong way to do things. Everyone is at such different parts of their financial journey, so what might work well for one person might not work well for another, and there's nothing wrong with that. Take from this video what you want, leave what you don't want, and just try not to be too hard on yourself. I know sometimes these videos can be a little bit overwhelming, so just be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're all just trying our best. Alrighty, let's get into it, shall we? I'll start by giving you kind of an overview of our situation and our setup. For anyone that might be new here, my husband and I do share finances. We have for the last few years. I have talked about this more in depth in a money diary video, so I'll have that link down below and on the screen if you want to watch it. And we both get paid fortnightly, but on alternate weeks, which is more of a recent thing. In the last few months, I got a new job and we have opposite pay cycles now. So it's taken a bit of readjusting. I was so used to us both being paid on the same day and then knowing that money was going to last us for the next 2 weeks and kind of what our fortnightly budget looked like. Now I have to be a little bit more mindful and a little bit more strategic. There's also quite a big discrepancy between his income and my income. So yeah, just kind of balancing that. It's a fine art, that's for sure. So yeah, both get paid fortnightly. I also do make money from my social media. The bulk of that, or the more reliable part of that, is from YouTube AdSense, which usually gets paid on the 22nd of every month. It usually hits my account. And then I do make some money from things like brand collabs. That's just more like sporadic, kind of whenever the brand wants to pay you, really. It depends on the payment terms and the contract. It really varies from sponsorship to sponsorship, but I do make some money doing that as well, which I'm so grateful for. Every time that we do get paid, it gets paid into one account, which is our everyday spending account. And then from there, we'll kind of transfer and divvy everything up depending on our expenses, depending on who's getting paid, depending on what kind of month we're having. There's a lot of variables, but our routine largely stays the same. I guess I'll give you guys a breakdown of all of our different accounts and their purposes. The first one, as I said, is our everyday spending account. So this is the account that we both get paid into. It's kind of like our hub of all of our money. Money flows in, money flows out. It's just kind of like our transactional kind of middleman. And this is the account that we use for all of our everyday spending. We both have a debit card that's linked to it, and this is what we use to make everyday purchases. Then we have our bills account, which I will transfer a set amount of money into every fortnight. And then from there, all of our direct debits for all of our different bills will come out of that one account. Then we have our long-term savings accounts. This is the account that we use for things like saving for our wedding, house deposit, that kind of thing. At the moment, we're saving for a car. Yeah, just like longer term savings goals. This is also a higher interest savings account as well. We do not touch this money. Like once the money goes in, we do not touch it until we need it. Basically, if we do withdraw from that account, we lose our extra interest. So that's kind of like incentive not to touch it. And then the other one I have is our emergency fund. So this is usually sitting at around 5,000. I'm working on trying to increase our emergency fund now that we do have a mortgage. I think it'd be wise to increase that. Obviously, you know, things are a little dire at the moment. Inflation and the cost of living and I don't know, life's a little bit unpredictable. So I really want to beef this up in the next few months. But yeah, it's around and has been around the $5,000 mark for a while now. And yeah, this is for things like emergencies, unexpected costs. If God forbid, touch wood, someone was to lose their job, just a little bit of a buffer to kind of tie us over for a few months. Those are like our main accounts. I do have a few others that are linked to our home loan, which is with a separate bank, but we don't really use it. It's literally for just paying our mortgage. And then I also have a business savings account and debit account as well, which is separate too. So that's kind of an overview of our different accounts and their main functions. Then payday comes along. Picture this, it's a beautiful Tuesday, Wednesday evening. I'm just sitting there reading my book, maybe scrolling on TikTok, and ding ding, a notification from my bank. I've been paid, woo! Literally, it's kind of embarrassing the high that I get from seeing that, like knowing that another paycheck's coming in. It's really quite a thrill. As I mentioned before, Nick and I do get paid on alternate weeks, so it does depend on who's getting paid as to what kind of payday routine that we have. Each of our paychecks kind of have a different purpose. The one thing that doesn't change, however, is what we do first. No matter who's getting paid, no matter what kind of week we're having, we pay our bills. I feel like that's just kind of non-negotiable. It's usually at this point where I will load up my WeMoney app and kind of check in and see how we're going. With the WeMoney app, it gives you the ability to see all of your different accounts in one place, which is what I love. You guys know I have multiple different accounts across multiple different banks, so seeing everything in one place and just getting a cohesive overview of my finances is key, especially when it comes to keeping track of our bills, paying down our debt. I can see both of our home loans linked here, and the WeMoney app also tracks all of your bills as well. So I can see any upcoming bills like our Good Life Health Club. That payment is due to come out in a couple of days. Spotify Premium's coming up in a couple of days, and I can just ensure that the money's sitting there in that account ready to be debited. You can also set little savings goals, which you can see here. We've got our car savings, saving for a dog, holiday. All of our next financial goals are listed here and we can keep track of them. Add little photos, see our progress. One of my favorite features is the debt tracker. You guys know our big financial goal right now is to try and pay down our mortgage as quickly as we can. To be able to see the percentage we've paid off and just get an overall figure, because we have our mortgage across 2 different loans. And I guess if you had like multiple loans, like a car loan and any other personal loans, you can see everything in one debt tracker. Like it's really motivating. I do check this nearly every single day. It doesn't change every single day, but I like looking at it just for like that extra motivation. Yeah, lots of really cool features. If you want to check out WeMoney for yourself, I'll have my sign up link down below. I definitely recommend checking them out. It's truly become like the hub of all my finances, especially when it comes to payday. It is my payday today. So you guys know I get paid $1,730 per fortnight. That amount is debited into our everyday spending account. And usually there is money left over from the previous week. Let's have a look. At the moment, I think we have about $109, just over $109 sitting in our everyday spending. So 109 plus 1,730 gives us $1,839 to budget for this week. As I said, first thing we always do is pay our bills. I'll double check on my WeMoney app just to see if there's any upcoming bills that are kind of out of the ordinary. Normally everything's pretty predictable, but just in case. And if everything looks good, checks out, I will automatically transfer a set amount into our bills account. This acts almost like a sinking fund. So we have our monthly bills that always come out, very predictable, like phone bill, internet, things like that. And then we have our quarterly bills. You never really know what those quarterly bills are going to look like, so I like to set just a little bit of money aside so when those quarterly bills do come in, it's the bulk of it's just sitting there. So I will automatically transfer $270 into our bills account. This amount does periodically change depending on what expenses we have. At the moment, the $270 is for our phone bill, which works out to be $67.50 per fortnight. our car insurance, which is $32 per fortnight, health insurance, which is $85 per fortnight, and our like bills, utility, buffer, sinking fund, which I will transfer $85 for. So when those quarterly bills come out, the money's just sitting there. So that leaves us with $1,569 left to budget. And I know this is money purely for saving or for spending, which is quite a liberating feeling. Just making sure that our bills are paid, they're out of the picture, out of the equation. And this is money for us. Now it's usually at this point where I will check in on my budget and kind of see how we're going with that. I actually haven't updated it in a few days, so I'm gonna do that now. Budget has been updated. I can kind of see where we're sitting for the month so far, see certain areas that we might need to rein in a little bit, like my coffee spending always, and even areas that I just haven't spent a lot of money in and like maybe have a little bit of extra money to play with. You guys know I'm not super strict when it comes to my budget. My monthly budgets are more of like a intention, like this is in an ideal world how I would like to spend my money, but I'm not too hard on myself. Like if I don't stick to my budget by the dollar, by the cent, I'm not too upset about it. And that obviously comes from a place of privilege, being in the financial position that we are. Yeah, something I'm very grateful for. Obviously it hasn't always been that way, but that's the kind of position that we're in right now. I will also always check my Google Calendar and kind of see what we have coming up for that week. I usually like to keep around, depending on what kind of week we're having, between like $500 to $800 in our everyday spending. So this is money for both of us to spend. There are a few bills that do come out of that spending account, so just accounting for those. Like the gym comes out of that account. Our storage unit is paid from that account because it's connected to our debit card. So keeping a little bit of extra money in there for those expenses, and then just everyday spending, petrol, any extra groceries, food, social events, clothing, all of that. I'll usually keep, yeah, around $500 to $800 a week, depending on what kind of week we're having. And we don't always, if ever, really spend it. This week we had over $100 left over, which is actually quite low. We had a little bit of a spendier week this past week, but usually I would say we have around $300 left over at the end of the week, just money that we haven't spent, and that's rolled over to the next week, and that is money that we can then save. So yeah, coming back to this week, I have $1,569 to budget for. As I said, I usually like to keep around $500 to $800 in that everyday spending. Looking at my calendar this week, it looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet one. We actually don't have a whole lot going on this weekend. So I'm going to say, we'll say $600 for spending this week. I'll go ahead and remove that from our total, which then leaves us with $969 to save. At the moment, we're kind of flip-flopping between a few different financial goals, trying to beef up our emergency fund. We're also saving for a new car, and we're also trying to pay down our mortgage as well, making any extra payments to that. I think that's probably what we'll do this week, just with, you know, rising interest rates, the cost of living, etc, etc. There was another rate increase recently here in Australia. And so, you know, it's just a constant reminder to keep grinding down that mortgage. So yeah, that is my payday. With Nick's payday, it's very similar. It's just a different amount, and we just pay for different things. So on a week that he gets paid $2,292 per fortnight. As I said, there's usually money left over that we haven't spent throughout the week. Let's say, for argument's sake, $300 is usually our average left over in our everyday spending. We'll then roll that over. Ow, I just hit myself. So we have $2,592 to budget for the week. On a week that he gets paid, we'll transfer $600 into our bills account, and this amount is for our board, like rent money, I guess. We're currently living with my parents. I say this literally every single financial video because I feel like I really need to set the scene, but we're living with my parents at the moment while we're building our first home, and we pay them $300 a week to cover bills, groceries, all of that. And then our other big expense that comes out of that paycheck is our mortgage. Again, this is constantly changing. Our home loan is set up half fixed, half variable, but we're also still drawing down from our construction loan. So this is constantly changing. But at the moment, our payments are just over $1,500 per month, Won't be like that forever, that's for sure. But at the moment, they're around 1,500. So 765 per fortnight, I think it is. Yeah, 765. So we'll go ahead and set that money aside, which leaves us with $1,227 for the week. As I said, we usually spend, let's say for argument's sake, $700 this week. It's going to be a spendy a week coming up, so I'll set aside $700 spending, which leaves us with an extra $527 to save. And that is how we do it, ladies and gents. When it comes to my social media income, I usually just like pretend it doesn't even exist. I'll set money aside for taxes and any business expenses, and then the rest I'll just put straight into my savings or towards our mortgage. And that is how we do it. That is our payday routine. I feel like this was quite straightforward, not complex in the slightest, but I feel like that it doesn't have to be. Like, keep it simple, pay your bills, have a bit of fun money, and save. And it truly comes back to your mindset around money. Like, if you know that you're a big spender, and if there's $800 sitting in your everyday spending, like you're gonna spend it, then don't have that much in that account. Know yourself, know your limits. If you have big financial goals, you're really trying to grind it out, be more strategic when it comes to your budget and setting that money aside. But yeah, this is just what works well for us. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting, somewhat helpful for someone out there, or maybe it just like reaffirmed that there's someone else doing it the same way you are. I don't know. Nonetheless, I hope you guys got something from this video. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out. Subscribe if you're not already and join the family. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about my payday routine or anything in particular that you want me to go into more detail about, feel free to leave a comment down below. I love getting back to you guys, and I'll see you very, very soon for another video. Bye guys.